Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Cast of Us. This is our Last of Us discussion show. I'm KassemG. With me there is Bruce Green, my compadre, my partner.
Kassem, I want to say, number one, it was great having lunch with you. Great having lunch with you. Because we actually did hang out in person.
It's like eating with the Godfather over there.
It was, I thought you were talking about, I was talking about you. You're the Godfather. Who's the Godfather?
No, you are, because you own that place.
Oh, I absolutely do. Yeah, I don't want to name the place, but they know me there, and I'm there like 3 times a week.
Yep.
Yeah, they actually, on the way out, when you walked out, they looked at me and said, "Don't bring it back."
He didn't order any margaritas. They were really pushing the margaritas on me.
They were, and they don't know that you're sober. And I was like, maybe stop pushing the margaritas. Like
it was 11:45 a.m. on a Friday.
It was actually pretty early for margaritas, I'm going to be honest. Also, Kassem, I wanted to say, this is completely serious. I wanted to say, chat, people on YouTube, everybody listening or watching this, Kassem puts a lot of work into this every single week. He gets screenshots. He does research. He listens to podcasts. Obviously, he watches the episode a couple times. Kassem does so much work, producing work, and I wanted to say thanks to Kassem, and I want everybody else in chat and on YouTube to say thank you, Kassem.
Well,
okay, we're going to do it. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Kassem. Thank you. No, you're not supposed to thank yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm working on the,
chat's doing it.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Kassem.
That's very nice.
Look at that. Thank you, Kassem. Because Kassem does a lot of hard work on this.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's hard work at all. It's a lot of screen capping and sending files. Look, it's great. It's honestly work I like doing because this is a show we would be watching anyways. So it's like a hair bit more effort that would go into it. Like even if I wasn't doing a show, it's like I'm not even doing a show. Do you know? It's like I'm watching it, might clip a couple screen caps. And then, I'm just having a conversation about it with a friend, which is the vibe that we want the show to be, is just 2 cis white males discussing a show that we like together.
Also, we're not friends. I don't know if you know. People don't know that. I know it feels
we're
like
enemies.
We're friends, but we are enemies. That's right. Outside of the podcast, we hate each other. We can't stand each other.
Yes. Well, thank you, Bruce. It's very kind, and I look forward to doing many more of these. At least 4 more of these with you, not including today's episode.
7, 8, 9, right? 7, 8, 9. Is that what we have left?
I don't know. I thought there was 10. Maybe there's 3 more.
Maybe there's 10. Is there 10?
I don't know.
Honestly, I don't want this show to end. I love it.
We don't know, and we're doing a show about it. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it. We're just taking it episode by episode.
But I haven't done the research on purpose because I don't want to know when it ends because I love it.
Good.
And I just for people that know me. I don't watch the coming up. I try not to watch trailers of anything that I know I'm going to consume because I enjoy being surprised. I like having that initial reaction to because I wish I had never seen the bloater before the actual episode because I would have been super excited to see the bloater in the episode for the first time, but I'd already seen the trailer. So
yes, and I do. I'm the opposite, so that's why we're the odd couple, where I will consume spoilers. I'll watch the coming up next week. I'll do the podcast.
I don't do any of that, yeah.
And then we get 2 different takes on the same source material. Isn't that fun?
That's right. I mean, maybe people were really upset at me last week for talking about Henry and Sam. So,
good. That's controversy. And if there's one thing I know, especially now being a conspiracy theory TikTok star, is that misinformation or information, it doesn't matter. It's all the same.
You're a TikTok star?
Oh, I'm a huge TikTok star. As of a few days ago. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, wow. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Do you get paid for it or no?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay. All right. I was just checking.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah. All right, we should start the episode. I know the people don't want the jokes in it. They don't want jokes. They only want laughs.
They can suck one, dude. People are here for us, and we're going to give them us, okay? Right. Last night, episode 6 premiered. Title of the episode is Kin. K-I-N. Family. This is the shortest title, and those of you know that I measure the length of titles. So far, this title in this week is in first place. 3 letters.
You do that?
I just started it. So
okay.
I just
All right.
started doing that. Yeah. Welcome to the show, everyone. We usually start the episode by talking about our overall impressions of the last night's episode, and then we'll go into like a deeper dive of it. But Bruce, please kick us off. What do you think of last night's episode?
Kassem, the show is just getting better and better. Like I don't know how it is getting better and better, but I had forgotten the narrative from the game kind of on purpose. I've tried not to do any research because I, again, want to be surprised, but I played the game. And when I start to see things that are from the game, I go, oh, that's right. And the narrative plays out so well in the television show. They're doing such a good job of the adaptation and also adding kind of new things here and there. This, in my opinion, this episode was kind of a slower episode, and I still loved it. So I'm just really having a blast consuming this every Sunday, man. It's awesome.
I'm right there with you. The show keeps getting better. I think it's because I've waited for this week's episode to kind of hit, which is like slower. It's a slower episode in terms of like physical action, but it was a roller coaster emotionally. It was fast-paced, intense, emotionally. And there was like this moment that we've been waiting for Joel and Ellie to kind of have, which is like the moment of acceptance that Joel really cares for Ellie and Ellie really cares for Joel. And it happened, very close to how they did it in the game, but like not exactly the way they did it in the game. And that's kind of what's fun. Again, this week does a great job of fleshing out parts of the game that we don't see and skipping a lot of the stuff that we did in the game that wouldn't translate well to TV. So I'm week to week very impressed at how much of a different but same experience, if that makes any sense, that this show is.
Yeah.
Wonderfully
Absolutely.
acted. Really great. And this was probably one of my favorite episodes. If I'm being honest, I think emotionally, I really get I squeeze a lot of juice out of these like intimate scenes that they have, like brother on brother and Joel and Ellie I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. And now that their relationship is sort of like rounded this corner, it's kind of now there's a lot to lose.
Yeah, I was gonna say now we know there's gonna be heartbreak.
Yes.
I think if you're watching the show and you've never played the game, which I'm sure there are a few people that are doing that, you kind of know where the show is going. You know that the show is hinting at the fact that Joel and Ellie are going to establish a relationship and really start to love each other. And you also don't know who lives and who dies. Like you don't know if Joel could die at any moment. Ellie could die at any moment. I have a feeling you might have some, preconceptions because again, this narrative I think has been well treaded over a lot of television shows and movies, but the characters and the relationships I think are what make this narrative stand out. At least they have for me in the television show.
Absolutely. And so far they've done an amazing job of making these characters like doing a service to who they were in the game and then also adding like another dimension to them somehow. There's just a lot of like really great looks, really great moments that would be in cutscenes in the game that and they say this in the podcast that they do about the show, that they just couldn't have time and money to do. They spend a lot of time in the talkies. And because of that, the talkies get me more emotionies,
Of course. Yeah. That's how you build character and get an audience attached to your show. That's
absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's talk. And by the way, guys, spoilers. Some of you are really nice. You go, listen, we want to support you, but I haven't watched the episode yet. And then you guys got to put us on mute or whatever. That's totally okay. We want people that are here to know that we are going to be spoiling the hell out of it and talking about potentially some things that we think are going to happen. So warning, okay?
Okay.
Talk to me about this opening scene, Bruce.
Yeah. Is this in the game, first of all?
These are new characters as far as I know.
They're new characters, right?
Yeah.
I love these new characters right away. Almost immediately.
Yeah.
Husband and wife or whatever they are, partners. I was really hoping that nothing was going to go wrong. I was like, please just let everybody walk away. And I think if I start looking back at the previous episodes of this television show, I start to think, you know what? Actually, I think Joel and Ellie are softening. I think the more that they run into people where there could be some conflict, there could be some death.
Yeah,
there isn't, because they're starting to feel optimistic a little bit. I know that it's really hard to feel optimistic in this world, but there's a little bit of optimism creeping in to the way they're carrying themselves, and I really like that.
Totally. They're hanging on to the fact that Joel potentially could be transporting the cure for humanity, right? And so there's a little bit of responsibility that Joel didn't really accept in the beginning of the season, but now has kind of come to terms with, because he's lost Tess because of it. He's he's finding himself in a situation where he's concerned with more than just himself. And what a real fun scene to have, like, these two fantastic actors like bring a little bit of levity to this like pretty bleak world. We learn that they've kind of just been living here. They didn't just come here during the apocalypse. They've just been sort of here for a long time.
Yeah, they've been off the grid.
Off the grid. Kafifa has mentioned that this episode has a lot of foreshadowing. It certainly does. I noticed when he walked in, he had a not a crossbow, but a regular bow. And we know that Ellie is proficient with a bow. Is it the same one?
Spoiler.
We're just, what did we say at the beginning of this, Bruce? We're here to spoil.
I know, you're right.
And so what'd they find out from these two?
They found out that they are on the right track.
Yeah.
They're heading toward Joel's brother.
Yeah, they're looking for Tommy.
They're looking for Tommy, and they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. They kind of need this couple to tell them, "Hey, you're here on the map. If you just go this way, you're going to be good." Hey, your face is frozen. I think.
Yep, I am fixing.
Oh no! I thought Cass was just really unhappy with what I was saying. I thought he was super bummed. And then they say, don't go any further west. Don't cross the river of death, because there's just a lot of mean people. There is not only infected, but people that will kill you that are uninfected.
Yeah, when they said this in the show, I immediately thought of like, that's where the cannibals are. You know, there is the group of the men who eat men. Yeah. And I'd like to think those would be the people I like shack up with. You know, always a hot meal. You know, they're probably doing stuff like steaks.
That's right. You are enamored with Army Hammer.
That's right.
You love Army Hammer.
I'm a Hammer stan. A big time Hammer stan. Yeah.
But he was the one that said I'm gonna eat you, right?
Yeah, he's a sexual deviant cannibal, right? Yeah, it's fantastic.
And are you a sexual deviant cannibal? I guess I should probably ask Ash and not you.
I'm just thinking these guys are always going to have the best food. And after a while, the shock of eating human being would wear off. And then I'm eating steak all day.
I don't think that's the way it works. I think it's really bad for us as humans to consume other humans. I think it's not good for our physiology. I want to say, right?
Oh, really?
I think, I don't think it's good for us.
You're trying to talk me out of human meat? Because I thought once you get the taste, you can't stop craving it.
I think there's a disadvantage physiologically, not just mentally, but physiologically, if we eat our own kind.
Huh. Well, I'll have to find out. But yeah, you're right. They told him not to go across the river here because it spells certain death. That's where the bads
That's
are.
Right.
All right. And so they go, okay, yeah, we're just going to go there then. This is something they've introduced also, is Joel is having these sort of like, I think they're panic attacks. Yeah, they're having little episodes. He didn't have this in the game.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
The creators of the show mentioned that he's having panic attacks because of the stress of what's happening, that he's solely realizing that the burden of life.
This makes a lot of sense to me, by the way. Like, what is Joel, 50? How old is he?
Yeah, he's got to be in his 50s. Yeah.
I mean, that's 20 hard years. I mean, we're discounting even just his normal life, but
He's
20
56.
hard years.
Says.
56.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Of like stress and murder and survival. Gosh, can you imagine? That just sounds like a nightmare. So I'm actually surprised this kind of stuff didn't get him earlier.
Yeah, and it's it's nice to see that stuff can take a toll on a person, because in reality it probably would, and he's not the spring chicken he used to be. And that is sort of really highlighted when he goes to meet, when he finally finds his brother here shortly. But before we get there, we have a lot of great landscape shots here. Beautiful. Like, the sense of travel is really great in the show. Like, the different landscapes, the illusion of time spent together is wonderfully done, because it's just them two, and they are like, all they have is each other all day, every day.
I also think Ellie, just as kind of like a fun little throwaway exposition line, says like, well, that was a fast 5 days or whatever she said. Like, she literally says it specifically how long it was, which was nice. I mean, like, again, it's kind of lazy writing, but that didn't bother me. I was just like, oh, okay, that's how long it's been. Great.
Yeah, sometimes we need a good little piece of exposition.
Yeah, why not?
Here's they do a little camp out, and she gets to take a little swig of the whiskey here. Bruce, how old were you when you first tried whiskey?
23.
Really? Were you Mormon? What happened? Really?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't Mormon. I grew up religious, but it was just like, non-denominational Christian, whatever. But I just didn't drink for the longest time.
Good for you.
And then I started drinking when I was 23. Kassem.
And then you were off to the races.
And then I was off to the races. Yeah. Now I'm a full-blown alcoholic. So
this speaks to me in my sobriety. Is I tasted whiskey 7th grade.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that's. Honestly, Kassem, sadly, I think that's probably pretty normal.
Oh,
I think
really?
it's probably pretty normal that like a junior high or like a younger high schooler has had alcohol and got drunk.
Yes.
I'm weird. You are not, is what I'm saying.
No, I think I would think that normal is somewhere in the middle there. Like, I don't think 7th grade is normal, like sneaking out of your house and walking to the local elementary school with stolen bottles of Malibu rum and tequila and whiskey's good. But I do think there's something before the age of 23 that could be considered normal. And you're right. It is sad. It's sad. It's sad.
It is. I mean, yeah, but that said, the apocalypse and Ellie being 14 and having a sip of whiskey, I'm fine with it.
Totally fine
with it.
She seems like she's more, emotionally older. I think you age every like three years for every actual year you live post-pandemic. That's what kind of what's happening here. And Absolutely. She doesn't like it. And by the way, just to drive a little bit of engagement on your YouTube channel and in our chat here, let us know how old you were when you first had whiskey. Freetown Joe says 12, 13. Canyon says 10 or so. Oof.
Chat, put the age you first had your first sip of alcohol, wine, beer, liquor, whatever. Put it in the chat.
If it's alcohol, I'm way younger. Whiskey was 7th grade, so I just want to let you know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, were you drinking rubbing alcohol when you were 5? Or?
Well, I had a couple sips of beer before that. My mother gave me a sip of Heineken
again,
when I was
think
like a
that's
kid.
normal. Yeah, I think that's normal. I've heard those stories from a lot of different people, and I didn't. That wasn't my thing. So,
go ahead and leave it in the comments, guys, and so we can see how broken we all are as a group collectively.
7 or 8, 17, 12. See, that's not so bad. Okay, all right, yeah. That's what I thought. I knew I was the weird one.
6 only tasting Kafifa. Jesus Christ. So they have this sort of like late night campfire where Joel's been taking double shifts, watching out while she sleeps, and inevitably he passes out and he wakes up and she's sort of like there on watch, holding his gun and like doing a good job. Is she learning? Yeah. Is she becoming more sort of responsible? What are they trying to tell us here?
Yeah, I think what they're saying is that Ellie and Joel are becoming, in my opinion, a unit. Like,
I like that.
They're sort of becoming cohesive. So before Joel was taking care of Ellie, and now Ellie is sort of picking up the slack. And to me, this hints at probably where the show is going to go. And I kind of don't want to spoil it too much, but like Ellie's going to become a pretty lethal killing machine.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe even in season 2. But that's what this feels like to me, is that she's starting to learn from one of the best in the business, Joel. I mean, even though Joel's killed a lot of innocents, he's clearly one of the best in the business.
This guy's an operator.
So,
this guy's taking a lot of lives. Yeah.
That's right.
He's also a contractor,
right.
from what we heard.
Oh yeah, that's right, the contractor.
So here's the dam. Now in the game, you meet Tommy at the dam. What I like here is that they completely skip the whole dam sequence, and they go to Jackson, which is the town they mentioned in the game, but they never got to. And those are one of the things that was because of time and money. Right? Am I wrong? Oh, you're laughing at something else. Okay. Actually, last one, I had such a bad screw up when I was like, I think this happened here in the game. She's like, that didn't happen here in the game, but you're cute for trying. But I think I'm right. And so what happens now is that we sort of find ourselves caught up with what looks like a gang of like
bandits, raiders.
Yeah. And look, they got a little doggy, don't they? They've got a little doggy, and the doggy's there to sniff out the sickness. I thought for sure that we were gonna get a moment where the dog sniffed it on Ellie.
I was, you know what? I was starting to feel the narrative turn in this episode, and I was starting to feel the optimism. Mm-hmm. So I was like, they're going to give us hope. Mm-hmm. So I figured that once the dog sniffed Joel and everything was cool, I was like, oh, I know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Ellie and the dog are going to get together, and she's going to pet it and love it, and everything's going to be fine. But there was some tension at the beginning of this that I was like, oh boy, this could go wrong real fast. But
yes, there was a little bit of tension. The creators talked about how, as many times as Joel has saved Ellie, he's also failed her in a number of different ways, and this is one of those failures where he wanted to do something because he thought for sure that dog was going to smell the sickness on her, and he kind of just found himself in a position where if they had to shoot her, they were just going to shoot her because there's no way he could take them all on. He's getting old. His shoes are worn out. He's worn out. He's kind of a metaphor for his shoes. His shoes are a metaphor for him.
Yeah, you're right.
And luckily, nothing happened, and we had a nice little moment. And he says, I'm looking for my brother. My name's Joel, and I think her name was Maria. Let me pull.
That's right. It's Maria, yeah.
Yes, she notices, and played by Rutina Wesley, who's fantastic. She notices, I think you're here. I think I know who to bring you into. And boy, do they have a nice little setup here. You walk in,
gosh, the best.
Beautiful,
the
right?
Best.
You have old people, kids, everyone's here. And Joel catches a look, and he sees his brother for the first time in a long time up here on this scaffolding. And it's a nice little moment. It's a brother on brother. Do you have a brother, Bruce?
I don't. I'm a only child. I don't have a brother or a sister.
Oh my God.
So I don't know what this is like. However, I think this scene, I know there are a lot of really good monologues in this episode, but this scene got me the most.
Why is that?
Just seeing two really hardened grown men.
Two hard grown men.
All right. Now, I didn't say hard. I said hardened.
Okay.
Break down, and watching Pedro Pascal just turn on the tears, man, just gets me every time. Like seeing these guys reunited makes me, and again, by the way, this factors into the optimism that I'm starting to see in the narrative, which is they're reunited. Like how would it have been? 20 years? A 10-year? I don't know how long it'd been.
Yeah, it's been. I don't know, but it's
10
it's
years. You
been
don't know.
Like
You're
10.
not sure.
Yeah, because they did like post pan. They did have like. They were
killing people.
They were killing people, and they had to get by, and
Yeah.
they have that conversation. So there was some time there that they spent. But here is like Joel is relieved. He's relieved his brother's still alive, but also there is a little bit of that. Joel thinks that he's sort of like at his end because he's getting old and he's like skipping a beat. He's having a panic attacks. And so I think right now at this moment he goes like, man, my brother's going to be able to finish this mission for me because I cannot.
Kassem, you have a brother.
I do.
And imagine if you spent. I know you.
He's a younger brother too.
I believe you like your brother or love your brother.
I love my brother, but it wasn't always that case. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a later in life thing.
So imagine you two are killing people and really getting along just fine, but then all of a sudden
I can imagine it very clearly.
and then all of a sudden one of you kills somebody that the other person thought maybe shouldn't have happened, and then you guys separate.
Yeah.
10 years later, you assume your brother's dead, the apocalypse, all that other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but then you guys reunite. Are you gonna hug him and cry, or are you just gonna stare at him?
I think what's great about this scene is that at first, yes, right? You go, oh my God, like I'm just happy you're alive.
That's
and
right.
then much like what happened in this episode, it would be a pretty quick, like right back to, oh yeah, didn't you do that shit I didn't like? Or didn't, like you would be very, very soon before you're right back to bickering. And that's kind of what happened here. There's a scene where Ellie and Joel here are sort of having this like fantastic, I think she says it's the best fucking meal she's ever had. She's kind of like rude and crass, and they're not used to that sort of thing. And oh, by the way, there's a shot here of this girl.
Dina.
Yes, you caught that too, huh?
Well,
and by two, I mean I didn't catch it. I had to hear it in the podcast.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, like I saw a bunch of other people. Dina. So could be Dina from Last of Us Part 2, staring at Ellie there. We're not sure though. Nobody actually knows.
Nobody knows. I would have to assume that this is Dina. The only reason I think it could be Dina is because Dina's like what, Middle Eastern in the game? I thought she was Israeli. I could be wrong. Okay,
but,
well, you know, it's kind of all the same. It's all one big. It's all.
I didn't say
even
that.
Though they're at war with each other constantly.
I didn't say that.
This woman looks like she could be of that persuasion. And who knows if she'll pop up again? And I have a feeling she will. So they have this sort of dinner here, and then they take a tour, or this a lunch, and they take a tour. It turns out that Maria's she's kind of like an elected official. She's one of the big wigs over here.
They're doing democracy.
They're doing
kind
democracy.
Of like they're doing democracy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a socialism, communism, democratic republic of Jackson. It seems like. Right. And it's everything's, again, lots of optimism in the episode. Everything's working fine. Like it's literally they're all like, we got everything. We got a bar. We got a movie theater.
They got lights. The dam is powering everything, which is fantastic. To be honest, like it's kind of a cool little life they have there. It's like a close-knit community. I've always lived in big cities my whole life, and there's always been a part of me that's like, man, it'd be so cool to live in a small town because everyone just goes to the same general store and you just see the same people over and over again. And then I'm sure I'd get tired of it. I'm sure everyone that does live in a small town must think I'm crazy saying that. But there's something nice about seeing the same familiar faces and watching the same people grow up, you know, well,
especially post-apocalypse. I mean, the apocalypse has got to be a nightmare trying to get out of a big city. But I mean, imagine having to run for 20 years and then you land here. And you're just like, this is paradise.
Yeah, and we do see some sheep. I didn't clip the sheep, but there were some sheep. And, there was the conversation that Joel and Ellie had, and she asked him kind of what he would be doing if he could do anything. And he delivered her, and they found a cure. And he said he'd have a little ranch with some sheep.
He'd have a sheep farm.
There's some more foreshadowing, but here we do see some sheep. She makes a little comment. And then they split up. Joel and Tommy kind of go to a bar to have a drink. And just like we had just spoken about, it's like kind of right back to like, remember what happened when we were, kids and we were killing people. And Tommy tells him he's like, this is where he tells him he's a dad, right?
That's right. He says, Maria is my wife and she's pregnant with my child. So I cannot risk my life. I can't go out there and help you with Ellie because I'm about to have a kid.
Yeah. And Joel's still got that big brother thing. And he's like, I did everything that we did just to save us and you wouldn't kind of be here in this situation if it wasn't for me. That's
why won't you help me? Come on, help me.
I need your help now for once, and that's kind of that's that big brother bullshit that we get caught up in a lot of times. That does.
Wait, you're the big brother, right?
I'm the big brother. We have all kinds of bullshit. Yeah.
You're calling in favors all the time with your little brother?
We think we're. You know what? I'm happy to say I don't need a lot of favors from my brother, but if I did need one, he's there in a heartbeat. I do feel like it's got to be my responsibility, even though it's not. I got to hold this family together, brother. I got to take care of this. I got to take care of that. As my brother gets older, he becomes that person while I become the jack off on Twitch trying to make a buck, So.
Man, I don't think that I'd ever heard a more accurate description of you. Jag off on Twitch trying to make a buck.
That's right, man. And complete with panic attacks too. And here's Joel having another one. By the way,
one. Yeah.
who makes this jacket? If you are in the chat and you know who makes this jacket, this is I need to know the brand. I would never own this thing. I don't think I could ever pull this off. It's like halfway between a nice coat and a duster, but it is Sherpa lined. It looks comfortable, and boy, is it worn in nicely. I just love a nice piece of leather. I really do.
Do you? See, I never wear jackets because we live in Southern California, so it almost never gets cold.
Dude, you better get one because this week it's gonna rain. It's gonna be cold, my friend.
That's right. It is, but cold in Los Angeles is like 50. And
That's
everyone else is laughing at us. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's freezing for me. Me and Ash had to put a third blanket on our bed because we're pussies here.
Oh my God.
Speaking of pussies, this scene here. Do you know have a? Do you have a diva cup? Or do you have a diva? Do you have ever heard of a diva cup?
Yes, I know exactly what a diva cup is. So
How
when
does
I
it
saw
work?
this, I knew. From what I know, the diva cup is something that you shove up inside yourself.
Okay, that sounds
and then
forceful and violent.
And it expands.
Okay.
Just a little bit, in order to take the menstrual blood that is coming out of the vagina.
Okay. Look.
Am I wrong?
I have no idea how diva cups work, but I like the fact that they're using them because they've got to be using reusable stuff. There's only so much Playtex and Tampax out there, and always with wings that they're, probably gone through all the supply.
I like that Kafifa in chat said, "I don't get it neither."
Here's what I see when I look at the diva cup. I'm like, oh, you could put a penis in there, but I don't understand how that works for a vagina.
Nope.
And I guess, like the tube, which way does the little end where the nozzle attaches to? Like what exactly? Man,
I've never actually looked up. I mean, they even show the diagrams in the show with a little pamphlet. But I've never really looked it up because that would be a weird thing to do. So I just didn't do that. But I've heard descriptions of what a diva cup is, and so I kind of gathered, I assumed. But since I am a man, I don't look into that stuff very often.
Okay.
Because I don't need to.
Me and Ashley are going to be doing a whole other spin-off pod on just diva cups after this as like a follow-up.
Really?
Yeah, as a follow-up to this episode.
Okay.
So stick around for that. We're going to do, you can say probably do 2.5, 3 hours on diva cups, babe. She's going to show it, and she's going to do a demonstration of how like your health teacher used to put a condom on a banana. Okay.
No, thank you. Yeah. Nope.
She has a fresh shower. She's coming out, and she's decked out in a lot of girly colors. She's got a lot of fucking purple on her, and she noticed she walks down. She hates it. She doesn't like. She doesn't like genders. She doesn't like traditional gender stereotypes.
She also hates colors. It seems she's not crazy about like bright colors. She says super fucking purple about a jacket that gets put on her. She hates it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'd agree with Steven Seagal on is the color black is timeless. Just black on black on black. It always works.
Is there anything else you would agree with Steven Seagal on?
That's the only thing.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
That's the only thing.
Clarify. Okay.
We find out that apparently Maria here had a 3-year-old son that passed away 2 days after Sarah passed away. And Ellie doesn't know who Sarah is yet, but Joel, and by the way, Joel sees a Sarah-like kid who's about maybe the same age Sarah would be at this time, maybe a little younger. And he sort of, has a little moment there. And here's a scene where she finds out that Joel had a daughter. How do you think she handled this? And did she play it in a way that you felt like worked for you?
I think the actress. I'm blanking on her name.
Bella Ramsey.
Jeez, man, how did I blow that? Bella Ramsey just absolutely she plays this correctly in the sense that she at first looks a little upset, but then I think she starts to put together what's going on in Joel's head.
Yeah.
And she's like starting to get it. She's like, oh, like now I understand why he's being such a dick all the time.
Yes.
Is because he had a daughter and he lost his daughter. I think Bella Ramsey nails it.
She's pretty emotionally smart. She's like, even though she's kind of like, rough and gruff around the edges, she's pretty smart. And I think she quickly does the math on Joel and realizes that, oh, okay, this had happened to him. I'm going to forgive most of the bullshit that he says because he's just trying to keep a distance emotionally. But she knows
That's
it's kind of that she eventually is going to climb that wall and make her way over. Richard Dreyfuss. This is an Oscar award-winning Richard Dreyfuss performance in
what movie is this?
The Goodbye Girl. I had to look it up. It's from 1977.
I've never seen it. Never seen
it. The plot sort of ties in. It's something about him leaving this girl. There's a loose sort of thread between the two. I don't feel like boring you guys with it, but I was thinking about watching it because I am a big Richard Dreyfuss guy, and I like Richard Dreyfuss. I've never seen this, and he's won an Oscar for it, so it's got to be good, right?
I mean, no, but
okay, absolutely not. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen this movie. I thought it was a funny movie to show to, I guess, the town, and mainly a lot of children. But yeah, who knows? It's probably really good. I just never seen it.
Hand Banana says it's really good. Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So she's not like really into it. She's not a big Richard Dreyfuss fan.
Unlike Kassem.
It's a shame. She's got a lot to learn. Emotionally smart, but her book smarts are dog shit. Okay, so here's Joel. He's in the little shack here, and his brother gives him some brand new boots.
Well, he's trying to resole his shoes, and he gets real frustrated. Joel's falling apart.
Yeah, his hand hurts.
He's falling apart. Like he's like self-destructing. And I actually kind of think, again, if just so everyone's aware, I'm not trying to assault your favorite television show in The Last of Us here. I'm like picking the smallest of nits when we talk about, because I love this show. I've enjoyed so much of it. But I do feel like Joel is falling apart very fast in this episode. Like everything's going wrong all at once.
Yes. They are, I think they want us to believe, because they want us to get to the moment where Joel wants Tommy to go finish the job. And in order for that to be believable, we have to see Joel physically deteriorate a little bit. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like, just get back on the horse and go, dude. And so, and it kind of works. I thought it was good. And this whole scene, he really has to sell it to his brother. There's a lot riding on Joel here when he's talking to Tommy. He's essentially begging his younger brother, and he's doing something that I don't think Joel's really ever had to do in his life, which is come from a place of vulnerability and be scared in public or in front of somebody else and tell them, look, I'm afraid. I have to do this thing. If I do this thing, it'll be probably the last good thing I do in my life. Maybe it's an opportunity to make amends for all the bad shit that we've done and I've done, and we have to get it done, and you're the only one who can do it, because I can't.
That's right. Yeah, Joel never asks for help, ever. Yeah. And this is a big deal for him to ask somebody for help.
Yeah, and his brother agrees. He's a great brother. Tommy's an all-star brother, by the way.
He really is. He really is an all-star. Like, he's like clearly made it here. He's found an amazing woman. They're pregnant. Seems like they have a great relationship in a great town. Everything's going right, Kassem. Everything's going right.
Yeah, why would you risk your life by going out? But like, here he is. He's gonna do it. He saw what his brother was going through, and he was like, all right, he's probably right. I don't think my brother's gonna last much longer. Let me do this one last thing for him. And Ellie here, and there's a whole scene that oh geez, I don't know if I clipped in here. There's a whole scene where Joel comes in and has that conversation with her about, this is kind of what my brother's going to take over from here. This is where we kind of part ways, and it's kind of hard. It's a hard moment to have, and
it's a great monologue.
It's him lying to himself, essentially saying, like, I don't care, like I'm just here to do the job, like we aren't anything more than just partners, and this is it for us. But it's not true. Yeah. He does care a lot more deeply, and then the next scene, it pretty much shows it. He shows up at the stable, and he's like, listen, I'm going to let you make a choice. And even before he like finishes, she's like, all right, let's go. Like, I love the fact that she didn't have to like have this like I'm
upset, I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't have to have that. She's just like, all right, dude, let's just fucking go. Like, I get it. Yeah. You're broken, I'm broken, let's go.
Again, picking the smallest of nits. It was interesting that the show has Joel lay this out. It's like the scene in every movie with a little boy and a dog where he's like, he has to kick the dog, like, oh, go on, get.
Yeah.
Like, even though he loves the dog,
Yeah.
and he's like, trying to hurt it and tell it to leave, but the dog doesn't want to leave. It's like, that's what they have. But then immediately, the next scene, I think it's like the next scene, there they are. They're back together. So it's like they were separated for a total of 2 minutes or something. I thought it was kind of funny.
This is a big moment for them. This is where they kind of officially turn a corner in their relationship.
They love each other.
And for the rest of time, they are on the other side of whatever this business relationship was, and now they truly care for each other, and it is a father-daughter relationship. And there's a great look that Diego Luna gives here, which is like almost like a, oh yeah,
Diego Luna?
Sorry,
Gabriel
Luna. Sorry.
Diego Luna's from Andor. I was like,
yeah, different guy, same Luna, different first name. Both fantastic actors. And it's a shot that it's a look that he gives him that's like, oh, you're kind of finding this thing that you thought you lost, which is nice. And he sees that his brother's probably going to be okay, or at least he's like on the right path.
And everything's going to be great.
It's going to be
fine. The rest of the show is just Joel brings Ellie to the doctors. They find the cure, and the world goes back to normal.
Yeah, they actually take a plane. Yeah, they take a plane.
That's right.
It's first
class. They take the plane.
Yeah. It's cool. Everything's super chill for the rest of the season.
That's right. Oh man, no, they're on the way to the Fireflies base, which is at University of Eastern Colorado, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then they arrive and they're having great banter. They're laughing at each other. Like clear again, it's like it's one of those things where like they do that. Oh, I love the scene where he's showing her how to shoot the rifle. And it's so cute, right? Like she's missing over and over, and she's like, "This is a bad gun. This gun sucks."
Right.
And Joel's like, "Hold on." Brings the gun over and immediately hits the target, and they go, "Ha ha ha!" And they laugh, and everything's great. And they love each other. And I'm like, "Oh boy." Whenever a show like, because I watch a lot of television just like Kassem. Whenever a show sets up that the characters love each other in an otherwise really horrible negative show, something bad is gonna happen.
They're gonna take it away from you.
They're gonna take it away fast.
They set it up so they can take it away from you. It's the oldest trick in the book, and by golly, I love it, and I'll fall for it every time.
Do you really fall? I never fall for it.
No, I let myself. I give myself permission to fall for it because I like feeling that pain. Is that wrong?
Oh man, it's not at all. That's a very interesting thing that I learned about you.
Yeah, I like feeling the pain, man. And a lot of great shots here. Whoever the cinematographer was, the DP
beautiful.
On this particular episode really knocked it out of the park. There's a lot of good shots of them on horseback. A lot of fun conversations. He's teaching her about football. He told her there used to be a thing called a contractor. Have you ever heard the job of contractor said in a way that made it sound this cool?
No, and absolutely. I mean, even Joel is like, he knows he's kind of lying to her about his job, but he knows she's eating it up. So he's like, yeah, contractors were really cool. Like I think he says that to her.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Then they finally, there's some more cool shots, and they finally get to the highway here, and they end up
at the University of Eastern Colorado, which is it's just this was in the game, and this is like
the game.
Did a fantastic job of finding a location that looks exactly like the game.
We spend quite a bit of time here in the game.
You do, yeah.
But again, we don't need to do that stuff for the show because that's for gameplay. Like we're here for a story, and we want to know kind of what's happening, and in between the gameplay moments, and this show's filled with it. And so they hear something, turns out it's just monkeys, and they hear it, and it leads them up to this classroom, and it says like this map says that they've probably moved to Salt Lake City. Speaking of Mormons.
Oh yeah, that's right. They the Fireflies have moved over there, so they got to go. All right, they're like, okay, well, we'll just follow them over there. No big deal. Everything works out.
All right, am I lagging here? Are we good?
You were lagging a little bit. Yeah, you were lagging just a touch. I don't know if you're lagging for the stream or not, but
Una momento.
I can. No, it's fine. I can pick it up. And they find these monkeys. There's a little bit of tension when they're inside the university because there's some noise happening. up in one of the floors. So they walk up, and they're like, "Oh, great, we're gonna have to start killing." And it's just a monkey. And it's no big deal. And the monkey goes away, and they kind of laugh. And they go, "Ha ha ha! No big deal. Everything's fine."
Mm-hmm.
And then they see the raiders outside. And it's funny, having played the game, when I see these characters, the raiders, I start to think to myself, I know what's going to happen because I remember these conflicts in the game. So thankfully, the television show doesn't recreate it one for one from the game, because some stuff kind of happens where instead of Joel and Ellie fighting it out like you would have seen previously in the series, they just try and escape. They're just like, well, we just got to go. We just got to leave. I don't want to encounter. I don't want to fight. I don't want any of that shit. Just let's just go.
Yeah, and
what happens next, Kassem?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. This is a moment. Just when we thought we were riding high, we were literally riding high. We are
literally riding high.
we were attacked by a man with a baseball bat, and then he got the short end of it. He didn't choke up or anything. He just he went right in, and
he snapped his neck, which was great.
He snapped his neck, and that was cool. And I don't know. Do you think you could do that to somebody, or is that just a movie thing, snapping necks?
I've heard that it is just a movie thing. I've heard that it is not easy snapping necks.
Because I got to tell you, I watch a lot of these chiropractic videos on TikTok, and these guys are doing these moves to patients, and people are going, "Oh, wow, it feels great." You know, they're not killing.
Yeah, no. So I don't think that. I mean, I think it's not really a real thing very often. But if there's anybody that could do it, I feel like Joel could probably do it.
I think you could do
Joel
it too.
Could probably snap a neck. You think I could snap a neck?
You're a big boy. I feel like you could snap my neck for sure.
I mean, I don't even know the like the procedure as to how. You want me to practice on you next time I see you?
I think there's a little bit of like performance from both parties. You know, if like you've got to do the, and then I've got to like, you know, and then I just have to stay dead. And so, so there's there's a shot here in the game. He gets stabbed by some rebar he falls on. So they changed that a little bit for the show, which I think is fine. It makes no difference to me. This is kind of a cool way for them to include the Raiders without, having to like show a whole bunch of the big old attack. Because I really like the time that we spent here in Jackson with his brother and like getting these emotional crescendos. And this is a really heavy moment to end the episode. It's a big cliffhanger, and she's pretty much telling him what she told him in the beginning of the episode, which is like, without you, I'm fucked. You know, I can't survive out here with you.
Yeah, which is absolutely true.
And
there's no surviving without Joel.
There's this big wide shot. She's just like all alone in the snow, and Joel's on the ground, and that's kind of where we leave off.
Yeah, and then I think the trailer for next episode shows Joel dying because he dies in the next episode. So.
He's dead forever, and so
he doesn't die. I'm just kidding around. He doesn't die.
No, there is a. Do you want to know what happens? What the next episode is going to be about?
You go ahead and talk about it. I know you love them. You go ahead and talk about it.
Well, the next episode is, and this is a spoiler, guys, but it was at the end of this episode. It's the coming up next week that HBO does, so it's nothing new, no new information here. But they are going back to another flashback episode, and it's the DLC of the game. What's the DLC called?
Oh, it's Left Behind.
Left Behind.
Yeah.
Left Behind, where she is in the mall with what's her name, Riley, or yes, and that's that whole story. So I think that'll be a good episode. Ooh. And we'll probably be focused on that whole that DLC starts with it's essentially starts with Ellie having Joel in the mall, and she's taking care of him, and then it flashes back to her time with Riley, which was also in the mall, and then it comes back to modern time where she's like trying to protect Joel from the Raiders, but we also learn a lot about her her relationship with this friend of hers who became a Firefly.
I'm excited actually about this.
It's gonna be good.
I didn't know that was going to be even in the show. So there you go.
Yeah. And that's going to be this week. We have who knows how many more weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? But it's been
people
a
are
great
saying
ride
3.
So
People are saying 3. By the way, I finished Station 11, just so you know.
oh, you finished it?
Finished it. Thought it was great. I have a couple of, only one major issue with the show.
Okay.
But I don't want to talk about it on
I'm
the
a
last
big boy. Yeah, you can tell me about it later.
You've
got to go stream. Issue. You've got to go stream Atomic Heart.
So do you.
I'm going to go stream some Grand Theft Auto, and we'll see if I can get into the game. But otherwise, this has been another episode of The Cast of Us with Kassem and Bruce. If you're watching on YouTube, please do Bruce a favor and call him Brucey. That's what I'm going to start doing. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. That way you know when Brucey goes live every week. Leave a comment of when the first time you sipped a drink, an alcoholic beverage was. When was it for you? Was it younger than me? Do you also have a problem? Are you part of a program? These are all things that you can leave in the comments. I appreciate all you that tune in every week live to be a part of the live discussion with me and Brucey. Or as some people are now calling you Brussy.
Brussy, I saw. I'm going to start calling you Cassie. So
the Cassie and Brussy show?
Cassie and Brussy show. Here we go.
I love it. It's an honor to do this with you every week, sir. Thank you guys so much. We're on Twitch Monday through Thursday. Brussy's on Twitch Monday through Friday, and then sometimes more.
Brussy's on every day.
Every day.
Friday. We're talking Sunday through Sunday, baby.
Until he becomes a daddy.
Until I become a Dussy.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Drussy Bussy. We'll see you then.
See ya.